How can I raise a child now after all this time?
My husband then served me with divorce papers. 18 years passed since then, in the blink of an eye. I had come to the university hospital for an examination, and my ex-husband, whom I met again by chance, made fun of me.
It's too sad for a single lady to be admitted to the hospital. Besides, your daughter is probably jobless anyway.
Then my daughter showed up. Oh, this guy. You really look like you have a bad personality. My name is Jennifer. I'm a 45-year-old office worker. My father died of illness when I was very young, and I grew up in a single-parent home with my mother. My mother worked hard as an office worker to support us, and I wanted to repay her by studying hard. I got to know that I could get a scholarship if my grades were good enough. I studied hard and went on to high school and college while receiving scholarships. My mother said, "Jennifer's hard work has reduced my workload tremendously and has helped me a lot." I was happy to hear that. I wanted to repay her for raising me, so I worked hard at job hunting and got a job at a big company. I worked hard and took my mother on trips and to fancy restaurants. While making many memories with my mother, I put even more effort into my work. I wanted to do more and more to show my filial piety. I spent my time thinking this way, and before I knew it, I was over 30 years old. People around me were getting married, having children, and having families of their own. But I remained single, probably because I was too devoted to my work. I wish someone good would come along for Jennifer. I was flabbergasted when my mother said that. Of course, I had always tried my best to be filial to my mother. But filial piety also includes reassuring my mother. That means getting married and showing her the faces of her grandchildren. I was already 33 years old at the time, so it was time for me to find a partner. In this way, I suddenly became impatient and started to look for love. Then, a friend invited me on a blind date, and that is when I met Nico, who would later become my husband. Nico was 4 years younger than me, and 29 years old at the time. He was an office worker, and gave me the impression that he was a fresh, good-looking man. He talked to me actively, and he wanted to exchange contact information with me. I was older than him, and there were younger and prettier girls, so I wondered why he wanted to chat with me. But I thought it would be better to have many opportunities for romance in order to get married, so we exchanged contact information. Soon after, he asked me out on a date. With half a doubt in my mind, I agreed to the date, and we went out to have fun. Indeed, he was very kind and a gentleman. When I asked him why he asked me out on a date, he shyly told me that he prefers older women.
And I thought Jennifer must be a nice person, because you're a kind person who works hard at your job, and you're also nice to your mother.
It made me happy to hear him compliment me that way, and I was attracted to him. Not long after that, we started dating, and we got married 2 years later. My mother was very happy to hear that I was getting married, and she cried when she saw me as a bride at the wedding. I was happy that I could do one more thing for my filial piety. I was also happy that I could marry the man I loved so much. I think I experienced the greatest happiness in my life. From then on, my husband and I lived a happy newlywed life. We both wanted to have children, and because of my age, we tried really hard. However, we were unable to have children as we had hoped. 3 years passed quickly without a child. I was already 38 years old, and it might be my last chance to have a child. While I was thinking about this, my mother passed away before I could get pregnant. My mother had been getting sicker and sicker for a while, and had been visiting the hospital. But somewhere along the way, I thought she was still going to be okay. Then she suddenly passed away, and I couldn't catch up with my emotions. I had grown up in a single-parent household, so my mother was a very important person in my life. Thanks to my mother, I had been able to live happily until now. I was saddened by the loss of my beloved mother. I wanted to show her the face of her grandchild. I was also sad that I could not achieve the dream. My husband gently took care of me, encouraging me and waiting for me to get better. I was always emotionally unstable at that time, so I think I was causing him a lot of trouble. Over the next year or two, I gradually recovered mentally. In the meantime, I was still trying to get pregnant, but I still couldn't have children. Then, I decided to give up since I was already 40 years old, and my husband and I decided to live as a couple. After that, I spent my days working and spending my daily life with my husband. Although the days continue to be the same as before, I still enjoy the happiness of having a partner. I did not doubt that we would continue to live to old age together. But then, my life suddenly changed abruptly.
It seems you are pregnant. Congratulations.
At the hospital where I visited, because I had been feeling unwell, I was unexpectedly told that I was pregnant. I was so surprised that I asked the doctor several times, "Are you sure?" I was 45 years old at the time.
It's true. I'm sure of it.
The doctor said with a smile. I never thought I could get pregnant at my age. I went home, still in disbelief. I told my husband when he came home from work that I was pregnant. Don't be surprised to hear that.
Why are you grinning like that?
I'm pregnant. My husband looked very surprised. No wonder. Even I was really surprised. But his surprise did not lead to joy like mine.
Why would you get pregnant? Didn't you say that we were going to live alone as a couple?
Well, yes, but that was only because I had given up on getting pregnant.
You didn't use contraception, did you?
Of course I didn't. Why go to the trouble paying for pills?
Seriously?
I was puzzled by my husband's reaction. You weren't wearing a contraceptive either.
I thought you were on birth control because you said you weren't going to have any more children.
No. Aren't you happy? I just got pregnant with your child.
I can't raise a child now after all this time, and a baby born from an old woman would become only stupid. I thought I could hold out a little longer, but it's time to move on.
That's when my husband thrust divorce papers in my face. Wait, what does this mean? Why are divorce papers in the drawer?
I've been thinking about divorcing you for a long time, because you're not worth anything as a woman anymore. And if you tell me you are having a baby, it's going to be a real pain in the ass. You are going to have morning sickness, and you're going to neglect your housework. And if you have a baby, I will be woken up crying at night, and all sorts of other troublesome things. There is no need for that now. In the first place, I was only with you because I didn't have anything bothersome.
What do you mean?
First of all, you don't have a father. When you got married, meeting the other person's father is the most tiring part. If it's only the mother, you're not that nervous, but you don't want to meet the father if possible. It's a good thing you're from a single mother family, because I could get married without that kind of hassle. The other thing is that you work for a good company. I was grateful that you were making good money and that I could afford to be extravagant. But I'm getting tired of it, and I'm leaving you. You need to pack your bags and leave as soon as possible.
Whatever that is, it's just too much. My husband, who I thought was a kind and good man, is the worst person I've ever met. Fine, let's get a divorce. My love for my husband has cooled off in a flash. I could never raise a child with such a man. I immediately signed the divorce papers.
I won't pay child support.
My husband said with a pointed look on his face. He is a selfish person to the end of the line. Okay, but no property division then.
I don't need that. I'm making a good living on my own.
My husband said with a triumphant look on his face. I didn't want to receive child support from such a lousy man, and I didn't want to give him the money I had earned. I was more than happy to accept his terms. I quickly packed my bags and left the house. Then I went to a real estate agent and rented an apartment near my office. Since I lived within walking distance of the office, I was able to work until just before the birth without putting too much strain on my body by commuting. Then I went on maternity leave and gave birth without incident. The baby was a healthy girl. She was so cute that I thought she was an angel, and I made up my mind to protect and take good care of her for the rest of my life. I worked hard to support our life together, including using a daycare center, and gave my daughter a lot of love. Even though I was raised by a single mother, I was very happy, so I was sure that I could make my daughter happy too. I never doubted that. I worked hard as a single mother to protect my life with my daughter. 18 years passed in the blink of an eye. My daughter has grown up to be a very nice girl. She is now a senior in high school and has already been recommended for college. She is very bright and can study better than I can, so I'm looking forward to her future. Then one day, I met someone I never thought I would meet again. It was when I came to the university hospital for a physical examination.
Huh? No way, Jennifer?
A man passed me in the hallway of the hospital, and when I looked over, I saw my ex-husband, Nico. My ex-husband is grinning when he sees me in my hospital gown.
You're sick. It's so tragic.
I had come to the university hospital for a checkup, and my ex-husband, who happened to see me again, made fun of me thinking I'm admitted to the hospital.
So sad to see your single old lady in the hospital.
I was so disgusted by my ex-husband continuing to behave so terribly. I'm just here for a checkup.
Oh yeah, well whatever. I'm sure I'm happier than you are now. I got remarried right after our divorce to a beautiful woman, 15 years younger than me. We have a child now, and we have a happy family. When I go to my son's class, people are always talking about how beautiful his mother is. As her husband, I'm so proud. Our son is a senior in high school, and it's time to take the college entrance exam, and I'm sure he will get into a good college.
I see. My ex-husband is bragging about himself even though I didn't ask him.
It's a good thing I left you. If I had stayed married to you, I would have been like, who is that old lady? And your daughter is jobless anyway. Kids born at an old age are probably not smart enough.
Unbelievable. I can allow you to make fun of me, but I can't allow you to make fun of my daughter. I clenched my fist and tried to talk back. Just then, my daughter appeared. Mom, are you almost done with your checkup? Jane, have you finished your errands yet? Yeah, I went to the bookstore and found it right away. Oh, who is this guy? This man is my ex-husband. My ex-husband is grinning and looking at my daughter. Oh, this is the guy. He really looks like he has a bad character. My daughter said so and looked at my ex-husband with cold eyes. My ex-husband suddenly heard such a thing, and his face turned red and he got angry.
You're a cocky little brat. I can tell you haven't had a proper education. You didn't even go to high school anyway. You're probably just jobless.
My ex-husband said with a raised voice. Mom, what is he talking about? My daughter was completely unfazed when my husband yelled at her. I go to XX high school, and I already have a recommendation at an Ivy League college. My ex-husband was momentarily upset by my daughter's statement.
XX high school? That's an ultra-preparatory school, isn't it?
But he immediately made a mocking face at us.
You think you can fool me with a lie like that? Why don't you tell a more decent lie?
I'm not lying. I even have my student ID card. She showed my ex-husband her own student ID. It says XX High School on it.
No way!
My ex-husband was shocked to learn that my daughter was very bright. In the midst of all this, my daughter asked my ex-husband, I heard you talking, but your son is a senior in high school and the same age as me, right?
Yes, but so what?
My ex-husband replied with a look of frustration on his face. That's funny, because I was born at the end of August. I heard that you left my mother when she became pregnant with me. Then you remarried right after that. And even if you had a child right away, no matter how you calculate the timing, your son would be one grade below me.
So what do you want to say? You're really stupid after all. I have no idea what you're trying to say. I think that student ID is also fake.
My ex-husband cursed my daughter without hearing her out. But my daughter just laughed and said, You're the stupid one, she retorted.
What the hell? You are insulting an adult?
My ex-husband raised his voice, to which the daughter replied, What I'm trying to say is that you were having relations with your current wife before you left my mother. My ex-husband got upset by that statement.
What are you talking about? I married my wife and had kids with her after we properly separated. If you make any funny accusations, I will sue you for defamation of character.
Suit yourself. If you don't understand what I just explained to you, then that's enough.
What the hell does that mean?
My ex-husband asked me, looking mortified. I immediately understand what Jane was saying, so I explained it to him again. Even if your current wife got pregnant after you left me and had a child, your son would never be in the same grade as my daughter. That would prove that you had a relationship with your current wife before you left me. After explaining it to him like that, my ex-husband finally seemed to understand. I had no idea you were having an affair. That really sucks. But my ex-husband quickly talked back.
So what's the point? We have been divorced for 18 years. It's probably your statute of limitations by now.
My daughter retorted to my ex-husband, I'm sorry, but it's not the statute of limitations yet. My mother had no idea about the affair, and in that case, she can file for alimony for 20 years after the divorce.
What is that bullshit?
It's not bullshit.
How could your little high school girl know that?
I'm planning to become a lawyer in the future. So I'm studying for the bar exam now, since I got a recommendation to get into the university.
Oh no!
Then, I'm going to charge you and your wife alimony.
Wait, even if you do that, I can't afford it.
I don't care.
Even now, I'm still going to the hospital and paying for the treatment.
My ex-husband had a bag of pills in his hand. Oh, those are diabetes pills, aren't they? You must be leading a very unhealthy life, I said, and he hid the pills behind his back. Anyway, I will never forgive you for insulting my daughter as well as me. I will send a content certified letter to your workplace or even your house and demand alimony.
Oh no!
Jane, let's leave someone like this behind. Yep. My daughter and I left the scene with my ex-husband, crumpled to his knees. I then sent a content certified letter to my ex-husband's workplace as I had declared. As a result, it became known within the company that my ex-husband's current wife was an adulteress and that he dumped his former wife, me, the moment I became pregnant. My ex-husband is now being looked at coldly by the people in the company, and he's feeling lost at his workplace. And I also found out about his home and sent a content certified letter to his current wife, which led to an interesting thing happening. His current wife asked him what she should do because she got a content certified letter. My ex-husband thought it was me who sent it, but as they talked, he found out that she was talking about the wife of her adulterer because she was currently having an affair with a married man. This, they said, had brought the relationship between my ex-husband and his wife to a crushing halt, and the family was in a bad state. However, my ex-husband is owed alimony by me, and his wife is owed alimony by me as well as the wife of the other man, with whom she is currently having an affair. So they are not divorced, and are working together to pay off their debts. Furthermore, a mutual friend told me that their child had been expelled from school right after entering high school for getting in trouble, and now he is jobless and just staying at home. I was so disgusted that it was my ex-husband who was the one lying and trying to look good. On the other hand, I'm spending happy days with my daughter, traveling, and getting along well with her. I worked pretty hard when I was young and have enough savings to have no trouble in my old age, so I think I will take early retirement when my daughter goes to college. Her ex-husband was an amazing scumbag. I think Jennifer was right to leave such a lousy man. And I was surprised that Jennifer's daughter is very talented. She's going to be a great lawyer in the future, isn't she? At any rate, I'm so happy that Jennifer is happy now and her ex-husband fell.